Hello, and welcome to another Whodunitville TV review. This time I'll be reviewing Diary of a Perfect Murder, the pilot TV movie of Matlock, which originally aired on March 3rd, 1986. For those who've never heard of this show before, the original Matlock is an American mystery legal drama created by Dean Hargrove and starring Andy Griffith in the title role of criminal defense attorney Ben Matlock. Producer and writer Dean Hargrove specializes in creating mystery series, often working alongside fellow producer Fred Silverman and writer Joel Steiger. Hargrove's most notable work includes Columbo, Diagnosis Murder, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and the 1980s Perry Mason TV movies. It's these legal drama movies that actually lend a great deal to Matlock's format and style. As Hargrove tells the origin of the Matlock series in an interview with the Television Academy Foundation, Hargrove had finished writing the Perry Mason movies and was trying to figure out what to do next, when then head of the entertainment division of NBC, Brandon Tartikoff, called. Tartikoff had just seen the miniseries Fatal Vision and was very impressed with one of the stars, Andy Griffith. Tartikoff was keen on developing a show for Andy Griffith, the idea being that viewers were more likely to welcome into their living rooms a star who came with a well-established reputation in a beloved, well-revered project. For Andy Griffith, this was the Andy Griffith Show. Now, I know I said this is a review of the pilot movie, but to better understand the brilliance of developing a show for Andy Griffith about a quirky country lawyer in Atlanta, best known for his southern drawl and always winning his cases, you probably should know something about how Andy Griffith's early characterizations shaped his career. Andy Samuel Griffith was born June 1st, 1926 in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. One of Griffith's earliest uses of the naive Southern character with a heart of gold came in 1953 when Colonial Records released a single of one of Griffith's comedy monologues called What It Was Football, which is told from the point of view of a country preacher watching a football game. It was a hit for Griffith, reaching number 9 in the charts in 1954. From there, he starred in Ira Levine's one-hour teleplay No Time for Sergeants in 1955, in a story about a naive, folksy country boy in the U.S. Air Force. When that teleplay was expanded into a full-length play for Broadway in October of 1955, Griffith earned a Tony Award nomination and a Theatre World Award for Best Debut Role on Broadway. Later, Griffith would again reprise his role for the film version of No Time for Sergeants in 1958. 1 year earlier, in 1957, Griffith made his film debut starring in A Face in the Crowd, in which he again plays a country boy, but this time Griffith's character is manipulative and power-hungry, and uses his southern charm to first become a television host, then a politician. In 1960, Griffith appeared as Sheriff Andy Taylor for the first time in an episode of the TV series Make Room for Daddy, starring Danny Thomas. This episode, in which Thomas's character is stopped for running a stop sign in a small town, served as a backdoor pilot for The Andy Griffith Show. The Andy Griffith Show ran from 1960 until 1967 and became a much-beloved piece of TV history, due in part to its portrayal of peaceful life in the southern United States and its kind-hearted, folksy, and highly moral characters. In 1967, Griffith decided to quit the show to pursue other projects and a movie career. Throughout the 1970s and early 80s, Griffith starred in several series such as Headmaster in 1970, The New Andy Griffith Show in 1971, Adams of Eagle Lake in 1975, Salvage 1 in 1979, and The Yeagers in 1980. While in Griffith's early career it may have seemed like he was leaning too heavily on his own innate Southern charm to develop and infuse life into his characters for a vast amount of his career, doing appearances on shows like The Mod Squad, Hawaii Five-0, The Bionic Woman, and Fantasy Island, Griffith proved that his characterization of the naive Southerner with the heart of gold was only one tool in his tool chest. He could also play serious roles to perfection. He never allowed himself to be fully pigeonholed into this one-character archetype, while at the same time respectfully using the millions of fans' reverence for his portrayal of a folksy, morally upstanding Southerner to keep himself in the spotlight. That's why Griffith was perfect to play Matlock. Matlock is a very morally upstanding, kind-hearted character in himself, but he also uses his Southern quirkiness to affect an image of himself that can be underestimated in a courtroom, an image that Matlock can use to his advantage. The Matlock pilot movie, Diary of a Perfect Murder, begins with investigative journalist and TV host Steve Emerson, played by Steve Inwood, in a sit-down 60-minute style interview with someone who appears to be a crooked doctor. The doctor, tired of Emerson's accusatory questions, walks off the set in a huff. This scene is all about establishing Emerson as a hard-nosed, no-nonsense journalist with a big ego that the writer can use later on to get Emerson into trouble. From his base in New York City, Emerson goes to Atlanta to meet with his ex-wife, Linda Coolidge, played by Catherine Cannon, who tells him that she has a story involving the Georgia state government and possible mafia connections. This scene gives us some background info, like when we learn that Emerson and his ex-wife had a messy divorce, and that she somehow ended up stuck as a local news anchor in Atlanta. But we, the viewing audience, are left to fill in too many blanks, like how the two, Emerson and Coolidge, must have been on the same news magazine show, but for some unknown reason, the network they worked for fired her and kept him. To me, this should have been fleshed out more. Throughout this opening part, it's pretty obvious that Emerson will be falsely blamed for someone's murder. From the odd encounter with the front desk clerk at his ex-wife's apartment building, to his playing with the neighbor's dog, and his avoiding a group of people at the front of the building as he slips out the side door to meet an anonymous informant all alone, even a casual mystery fan can see that all this is to have witnesses place Emerson at the scene of the crime, and for him to have no alibi. Even the fact that it's Emerson's ex-wife who is killed offers little surprise, since it was stressed earlier that their divorce was bad, thereby making the ex-husband the perfect number one suspect. Dean Hargrove is an excellent writer, and I can only guess that his decision to water down the mystery was so that more emphasis could be placed on the main characters and their interconnecting plots. After all, the mystery would be changing every week if this pilot was bought, and so he was really trying to sell the main characters. For example, the subplot to this pilot episode is how Matlock's daughter, Charlene, played by Lori Letha, who works with her father in his law firm, yearns for more excitement in her life, while it's left to her father to constantly warn her of the dangers and ultimate grief a man like Emerson is likely to cause her if she gets too close to him. It's mentioned early on that Matlock's a widow and therefore a single parent. I think that Griffith's performance as a weary mother hen balancing between giving his adult child respect and still looking at her as his little girl he has to protect was exceptional. That's why I actually don't mind this subplot, especially since I know that in upcoming episodes, major character-defining subplots will be few and far between. As for the rest of the mystery, I don't want to spoil it, but I will say that fans of Columbo Season 2, the Etude in Black episode, will be pleasantly surprised with how Matlock solves the case. I found this movie, Diary of a Perfect Movie, on YouTube, but it can also be found on Peacock. If you do decide to watch it, please leave me a comment in the section below and tell me what you thought. Also, if you like this video, please consider hitting the like button, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the Whoduniteville channel so we can keep making videos just like this. Thank you for watching.